Hey X2, hello. Do we have LinkedIn? Oh, we also have LinkedIn, man. Finally, the LinkedIn people are gonna be happy. My faithful LinkedIn audience. Everybody loves me on LinkedIn, actually. Okay, so I should probably go get myself something to drink to get started. Nice cup of coffee. Cold coffee though. The plan for today, I think it should be actually like this. So publish the current state of the code under a branch so that I guess we can reference it when porting those other sites. And by the way, in that case, porting would be more like update. So we want to update these websites, and then this is going to be basically one block of work. We publish this stuff. People who are like early adopters of Zine can use it, and then we tackle this bad boy. Man, this bad boy, it's like this is gonna be tough. Talebo, what is SuperHTML? Hello, Talebo. SuperHTML is a language server for HTML and also a templating language. So as a language server, you can use it with normal HTML, and it gives you diagnostics when you write wrong HTML. Like you close a tag that was never opened, it tells you, what LSPs normally do, except that it turns out that nobody has ever bothered to write a language server for HTML that tells you when you write wrong HTML. It has also auto formatting, and it is also a templating language for templating HTML. It might seem that it's like too many things at once, but it's like I started because I wanted to make my own templating language for HTML. Think like Jinja, Mustache, Handlebars, those kind of things, except no curly braces. So it's a templating language, but works in a different way. And to implement my templating language, I had to implement a full-fledged normal HTML parser first. And so after I did the work to implement a normal HTML parser, I made a language server out of it. So that's why it's like a few things at once. It's just a templating language that actually has decent tooling around it. So that's why it's that many things. So long story short, if you want something that helps you write correct HTML, do try SuperHTML as an LSP. For you can get it also in VS Code. There's an extension in the market. And that's kind of what it is. So that's what SuperHTML is. It's on GitHub, Christoph-IT /SuperHTML. No problem. And let me know if you have any issues. I think the issues open here, yeah, they're all from me about enhancements. So there's not a ton of people using this, but those who are, they seem to be, I guess, fine with it for now. So let me go get my coffee, and then we can start. Oh, God. You know what? Maybe somebody in chat can help. I honestly wouldn't know. I don't know what is the easiest way to convert Zone to JSON. You know what you might want to do? I know that this is actually, there might be some implementations out there, but the only correct answer is you need a zone parser. And if you can't find a zone parser, you need to write a zone parser. There should be something in the standard library. Hey, Matthew, hello. There should be something in the standard library, or rather, let me rephrase this. We should eventually have something in the standard library. Would this be an appropriate use of shall? We shall have a zone parser in the standard library. I never use shall, so I'm not sure that conveys the correct meaning. The correct meaning being, yeah, we totally need to have that, but in the future, not now. I'll go with shall. I don't know if shall is correct or not. Super posh. I don't know. I don't even know what the fucking word means, so that's the state I'm at. In any case, there isn't anything in the standard library. I think that somebody, I think it was Mason Remali who was working on it, but I don't think that has been merged yet. That PR is about to merge. Oh, yeah, there we go. I think that some people have written third-party libraries, though, that deal with Zone. I think there was a Zone field extractor or something. Zone field extractor. Oh, look at this. What is this? Ooh, that's also true. Of course. The Zig parser can do it. Yeah, that is true. So, the way for use Zone as a configuration file format and found none. Zone get fields. So there you go. This is something that uses the Zig parser, and then it gives you, I guess, utility functions to grab values from a Zone file. Never used it myself, so your mileage may vary. But this is one solution from Durobot. Durobot Zone get fields. Maybe I should link it. Oh, can I do it without? Oh yeah, I can do this. Okay. Nice. So there's that also. Yeah, honestly, past that, I wouldn't know. So it is what it is. I'll be right back. So let me go get coffee, and then we can start. Okay, here I am. Let's go. Hello. Where are the folks in the other chat hanging out? Is it Twitch? Yes, it is Twitch. I have to admit, in a sense, I think my main stream is on Twitch. I started streaming on YouTube only recently, and how can I say? I don't know. YouTube works, but also I don't have music on YouTube because otherwise I'm gonna get every single video copyright struck. Copyright struck? No, maybe copyright stricken. Today is a day where I have philosophical questions about English philosophical grammatical questions, I guess, that I don't know the answer to. You know what? Maybe this could be an interesting opportunity while we're here, as like a warm up, as I drink my coffee. We could take a look at maybe some discussions on one discussion on Zigit. Actually, this is not the one. This is the one. There has been a discussion about interfaces, which I think it's kind of not a bad idea to take a look at what OP wrote here and comment on it a little bit. This is not like a, how can I say? I don't plan to roast anybody, but I do think it's worth taking a look. There is educational value, I think, in looking at this comment and commenting it. So reading up on interfaces in Zig, and I cannot but get the vibe I got from the JavaScript community back in the early 2000s towards object-oriented programming. This is a reference to a specific point in time of the history of JavaScript development. Probably not everybody's up to speed with that. I'm not myself fully up to speed either, although I kind of knew what he was referring to. And it has to do with the fact that JavaScript, again, I don't know precisely what the state of things was in the 2000s specifically, but you know how JavaScript for a very long time never had explicit class keywords. It didn't have explicit a constructor keyword. It had the concept of a prototype, and you would do inheritance by basically messing with the prototype of an object, roughly speaking. I'm also speaking roughly because I have done some of that in the past, and I think at some point I kind of got it, but then I haven't done really JavaScript seriously for a long time, and so now I don't remember anymore how the prototype stuff works. But at some point, ES7, maybe? ES6? Well, one revision of ECMAScript introduced the class keyword and a different way of doing inheritance in JavaScript. Is it about the class API in React before hooks? No. This is not. This is about the language, not React. So, or I don't know. Maybe that same thing also reflected in changes in how React expects you to describe things. So I don't know. But at its core, this is like it's basically prototype versus class in JavaScript. So JavaScript supports prototypical inheritance, but most of the mainstream programming language supports class-based inheritance for JavaScript to fit in. Inheritance. And for JavaScript to fit in, people started coming up with different patterns from module pattern to the decorator pattern to emulate some of those features native to languages that have inbuilt support for classical OOP. All of these felt really hacky to me back then. Since then, JavaScript has added a veneer of classical OOP on top of its prototypical nature, making some of the popular design patterns back then to be obsolete. Now, reading up on interfaces in Zig. Currently reading Zig interfaces, so this is a blog post. Can I get some review on Hover? Can I get a click that? Oh, nice. Good job, Arc. You did it. So this is a blog post. March 2022. There is a new recommended pattern for making interfaces in Zig. Check this blog post for more information. Free initiated an update. So it links to a Zig News blog post. Okay. So with a couple more queued up, but I can't help but get the same feeling. These are just hacks, patterns to fill the gap of missing feature in the language. Feature like having interfaces is clearly a useful feature, hence why people are coming up with a way to emulate it. My question is, does Zig plan to ever add such features like interfaces to the language, making it a native and first-class citizen? Or the ethos of Zig is to be as bare bones as possible and leave things like interfaces as something to be emulated? I personally hope it is the former. Well, yeah, I mean, the wording kind of led it to inspire that the author had was of the opinion that this stuff is kind of critical to have, and if you don't have it, you have a missing piece that sure people can like find. I can't believe it's not interfaces. So they can put margarine or something as a replacement for the missing good stuff. So I'll be brief. Go check out the discussion, by the way, on Zigit if you want to see all the replies. I also replied here. And you know what? Maybe I should just... There's also other replies that maybe are interesting. I should read my reply because I guess it's just an easier way for me to express, the same thought that I wanted to express now, regardless. So here's my answer. While a discussion about interfaces is legitimate, it is important to keep in mind that those hacks, in quotes, is how interfaces actually work in all languages under the hood. The comparison with JS inheritance might make sense from a usage perspective, like JavaScript didn't have, a class keyword, and so you had to do use some other syntax to obtain what other languages gave you through a class keyword. But past that, it's fairly inappropriate because inheritance is in itself an abstraction very far removed from the basic operations that the machine exposes to you, while pointer math, like field parent pointer, which is one way of doing interfaces, B-tables, tagged unions, etc., are much closer to the fundamental operations that the machine can perform. There's a big mentality shift required to go from a high-level programming language to Zig. My recommendation is to keep questioning design ideas, but to make sure to read and program as much as you can, because a lot of the conventional, again in quotes, programming wisdom doesn't apply once you decide to concern yourself not only with the linguistics of how to express... Oh, there's a double how. Of how to express ideas, but also with their mechanical implementation. So, if you're somebody who has done higher level programming languages and you have studied in university, or you have seen talks or in general interacted with people that have told you interfaces are good, you should make interfaces, you should express things as interfaces. Interfaces are a basic building block, a good basic building block of programming. They're not necessarily strictly wrong, but that is usually a perspective that is motivated, that is not constrained by how the program works mechanically past a certain level of precision. And Zig exists way past that level of precision. So while in, say, Go, you should do interfaces, in Java, you should do interfaces, in C#, everybody wants you to put interfaces every fucking where. Fine, do it, whatever. But once you start worrying about exactly what's going on behind the scenes, interfaces stop being as good. They're still good. They're still a available concept, but the whole thing becomes, the whole discussion has to be more nuanced than that. And yeah, so please everybody keep that in mind in case you have those kind of, I don't know, feelings about stuff like interfaces. All right, are we ready to do some programming? Let's see. We have some changes probably to Scripty. What did we do in here? I don't know. You know what? Minor meta pro. Minor meta programming changes. Nothing particularly interesting, to be honest. Okay, let's see what we're having here. Oh, we implemented CTX. Jesus. That's a shitty implementation of that, though. Okay. With implementation of CTX. Fine. Oh, also, Zig fetch. No. Want to update scripty. Can I ask for a suggestion? Sure. What suggestion are you interested in? Okay, so we have updated that. Now we have updated, we have pushed SuperHTML. Now we can push Zine, I guess. I only know Python. I only know Python and know it pretty well. I wanted to learn C, but I like Zig more. Is it a good decision to learn Zig with just a Python background? Well, to really answer the question of whether it's a good idea to learn Zig while not only knowing Python, like the full answer to that question requires to know more about your context. But that said, let's say that you have an interest in learning lower level programming. And so you're trying to get into this new facet of programming, the software development that you never experienced before. And so part of that is choosing a language to start. From that perspective, I would say that Zig is, in my opinion, probably the best choice you can find. Keep in mind, I'm obviously biased. I work at the Zig Software Foundation. I'm in the Zig ecosystem, but I myself had to ask myself that question and find an answer in the past. Like I wasn't born as a Zig developer. I studied bioinformatics and I did higher level programming languages pretty much all my life. And then at some point, I also wanted to get into lower level programming. And I had done a little bit of C, and I knew how freaking painful everything was, how stupid and obtuse every single tool was. And so I didn't want any of that. And that's actually one reason why I had not done lower level programming before. Because I attempted, I saw that it was extremely full of friction and said, paraphrase, roughly speaking, fuck that. Zig instead was like a kind of like a cheat code that basically allowed me to get into lower level programming without having to experience all that friction. So I would say it's great. Keep in mind, to be successful with Zig, you need to be a little bit self-reliant. I would even argue that, being self-reliant is a necessary skill if you want to do software engineering, because we are roughly in the Middle Ages of the history of software engineering. So all the experts around you are mostly people who like to, who think that it's a great idea to solve most problems by attaching a... oh man, what are these things that suck blood away from you? What's the term in English for those? Well, you know how in the Middle Ages, doctors would prescribe, you need to get your blood sucked. You're feeling muscle ache, get your blood sucked. Belly ache, get your blood sucked. Oh, you're feeling sad, get your blood sucked. Yeah, leech. Thank you. Yeah, leeches. Leech therapy. So that's roughly where we are. So like, oh, you want to get better software development, you gotta do Scrum. Your code better be clean and also hexagonal, whatever that means. Gotta do event sourcing. Oh man, you're not doing event sourcing. Look at that guy. He's not doing event sourcing. Oh man, microservices. You are doing microservices, right? Yeah. No, actually, it turns out microservices are not that great. Now it's monorepo. But wait, those two things are not even whatever. Doesn't matter. So that's where we are. And self-reliance is kind of necessary if you want to go anywhere, in my opinion. So in the case of Zig, this is doubly true because there is a young community that is very active, very doing a lot of things and helping also each other out. But it is a lot of the stuff, a lot of the learning that's happening around Zig is still a fairly social activity. You can find blog posts on the internet. You can find guides. You will, if you go on the official Zig website, there's a learn section, and in there there's like links to learning resources. So it's not like you can't like the only way of learning Zig is by joining the tribe. You have to dress up like other Zig tribe people and like participate in the tribe ceremonies. But yeah, so you need to be a little bit self-reliant. That said, I think that you will have a great time if you learn Zig. I think that learning C before Zig, some people say that, oh, you should learn C before Zig. I think it's an absolute waste of time. Really. Because the thing is, by learning Zig first, you will be exposed to most of the same concepts that are also necessary when doing C. But you will be able to experience a more like modern version of those things without all the annoying friction around it, and also as needed. You will have the ability to learn this stuff as you need it, because maybe you have a piece of Zig code that needs to interoperate with C. That's, in my opinion, that's much better than yeah. That's Vim, that's GCC. Good luck. Yeah. Nice. I'm saving this. That is a beautiful file name. Oh, imgurmagic.png. Download renamed. Thank you. I was actually hoping that this thing would rename the download for me, so I didn't have to think about it. No problem. So, by the way, one final, like, how can I say, one final consequence of what I was postulating earlier. If you do end up deciding to learn Zig, it is highly recommended that, well, first check out the learn section on the official website, but then after that, join a community. There's a community on Discord that is very big, has a very active help section. There you can find also projects that are being made by other people and a ton of discussions. There's a forum, ziggit.dev. It's a forum where you can have, forum-style discussions with people. You lose some of the, instant gratification from instant messaging, but the discussion tends to be more thoughtful. There's also more. You like IRC? There's an IRC channel. You like other things? There's also other things. So go have fun. Do you think Zig makes it entirely unnecessary to write anything greenfield in C? I think that if we want to get technical to this answer, the answer would be no, because I think there might be places where it is still necessary to write even new stuff in C because of various constraints. For example, if you're doing something automotive or whatever, where you have like a tool chain plus plus whatever is going on there that is like for C. So maybe you have like processes that do machine code validation and recognize patterns generated by C code. I don't know. Like there might be weird reasons that you might have to stay with C. But I would say for like the general population, probably yes, except that you know, if you're using Zig, you're kind of making a bet on it. So I could understand people not be willing to bet on Zig yet. It being a little bit too risky for them still. But setting that aside, yeah. Let's see, more context on my suggestion of Zig with Python. I have a whole rant on my blog, but TLDR is Zig, if Zig is legitimately the only other language that lets me... Oh, but the TLDR is... Zig is legitimately... Sorry, I was trying to autocorrect typos, but I did that wrong. So, but the TLDR is... Zig is legitimately the only other language that lets me be as productive as Python. If you need inline ASM or compiler directives, perhaps. Yeah, no, we have those. Not only that, but... you know, I think, did somebody mention, yeah, or a non-standard compiler? Guess what? If you need to use a non-standard C compiler, you can use the C backend and transpile your Zig code to C, and then use the non-standard C compiler that you are required to use to compile that. Yeah, that's how Zig bootstraps itself. A part of the Zig bootstrap system. So the idea is, you know, you don't have a Zig compiler and you need to. I thought it's only C Zig. That's actually, yeah. So the way it works is that we have. Okay, let me pull up. It's time to pull up the big guns. Time to pull up Lorian. Please brace for horrible end drawings. Horrible end drawings alert incoming. So there are C to Zig happens in two ways. One is through Clang. I'll go with CL. That produces object files. So .o. And that goes into the linker, which we're going to call ZLD for short. So Zig takes Zig code, turns it into, I don't know if it turns it into an arrayfied object file, but in any case, produces stuff that ultimately gets fed into ZLD. Clang can also do the same, and that way you get interoperability between C code that has been compiled with Clang. And there's also, it's not only object files. Yeah, I know. I think it's ultimately at its base object files. Then there's also translate C. Translate C takes C code. So let's say you have C code and turns it into Zig source code. But translate C is very limited and can pretty much should only be used for pretty much header files. And there's also some things in header files that cannot be fully translated to Zig because some macros are impossible to translate to Zig. So Zig, translate C, I would say it's mostly a convenience thing. It's not really the main tool that you use to interoperate with C. It's just a convenient way of not having to write manually bindings to C libraries because you don't need to write the external expressions yourselves. They get auto-translated by Translate C for you by reading the header file. Except the header files are somewhat mediocre ways of expressing interfaces. Well, if you use them correctly, they're fine. But if you start having like a macro being your interface, then I don't know, it's crap. So lastly, there's a C backend, and this is what also I think MATLAB was saying. Yeah, the C backend turns your, basically instead of producing object files and anything else, everything turns into C code. The Zig compiler bootstraps itself that way. So the idea is, I'm on a new computer. I don't have a Zig compiler. I only have a C compiler, and I want to build my first build of a Zig compiler. How can I achieve that? So that's what bootstrapping is. And the way we do bootstrapping is that there is a way for you to build to compile using a C compiler, a version of the Zig compiler, but we go through WebAssembly because of reasons, and it's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit slightly out of scope with this discussion. Like, it's nothing crazy, but we go through WebAssembly for some reason. And, well, not for some reason, for specific reasons. It's just not immediately obvious why. But yeah, so long story short, yeah, if you need to use a custom C compiler, you can still do it with Zig. The only thing is, yeah, I don't know, it's risky. What was Matthew saying earlier about risky? Your VP of community, you aren't meant to say that it's risky. You're meant to sell Zig. Oh yeah, please buy more Zig. You know, discount code in the description. Use Loris Crow 4269 and 42069 and get yourself a 15% discount off of Zig Premium Edition or something. ZLS should consider using Translate C to support using C libraries from Zig with LSP. ZLS can already do that. Like, ZLS today can already access your the definitions in your C libraries. I can actually show you that. It's kind of trivial. Like, it just works and has been working for a while now. So if you can get that out of your ZLS, you need to take a look at your setup, because there's something wrong there. So let me see. SuperHTML doesn't have that. What can we use for these? Let me think. Because I had a bunch of C dependencies, and now I'm getting rid of them one by one, so it's getting progressively harder for me to find a good example. SuperMD. Okay, SuperMD uses... Oh, shit. We're getting already spoiled. Okay, SuperMD uses the C markdown parser. So this is like my markdown machinery inside of Zine. I see import CMarkGFM, core extensions. If you go to definition on the header file, you get the header file. But if you go to definition on the symbol where this C import happens, you go into the translated thing. And you can also get, auto completion and suggestions and stuff. Let me see if we can, because, okay, we don't use C from there. So let me go into like AST. AST uses const node. Oh, I have node.zig. Okay, node.zig. I use a bunch of C functions like CMark node parent. And if I go in here, you can see that it autocompletes. Like, sorry, it suggests, it knows the signature. These signatures are very simple because this is a very simple API. But it tells me this stuff. It also does autocomplete. It doesn't do it for me because I have it turned off. But if I had autocomplete turned on, it would work. So, yeah. The way this works is that ZLS needs to be able to load your build script. So you need to have a build script that compiles and that successfully defines all the dependencies, etc., And when that works, ZLS can run your build script, run it in a special way where it's not actually executing the build script, but it's just building the dependency graph and then observing what depends on what, where things are, etc. And at that point, you have everything. So yeah, this one give you like, I don't know, go to definition into the C code implementation. ZLS is not a C language server. But the most important part, which is like giving you information about the interface, auto-completion, information about signatures, error checking, blah, 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 for the signature stuff. Yeah, that works. How did you get this based? I don't know. But oh, wait, actually, I do know. By using Zig, of course. Man, you wouldn't believe. I was, before using Zig, couldn't even speak to people. Started using Zig, you have no idea. So much testosterone now in my system, more muscular. Oh, you wouldn't know. You cannot even imagine what's happening with the ladies since I started programming in Zig. Okay, let's... So we published some stuff. We haven't published Zine itself, though, have we? Okay, so we're pushing under SuperMD. Leave some room for us. You gotta start programming in Zig. That's the only way. It's the only way you can, you know, actually compete. Let's see what people are saying on YouTube. Hey, I really want to be a systems programmer and I want to contribute to Zig. Any specific roadmap? And how long will it take to get rid of the LLVM backend? Getting rid of the LLVM backend, I think it's, again, I'm being very literal in answering your question, is not particularly interesting. What is more interesting is when will there be a working alternative to the LLVM backend? Because for a long time, you will still have access to the LLVM backend, but there will also be alternatives. They will be faster, but not as good as optimizing code. And that's actually sooner than later. I believe that probably the next release of Zig, so that would be 0.14, 14 should feature a first custom backend for x86 64 Linux. So if you have an x86 64 Linux, you should be able to have faster non-LLVM builds of your stuff, and then the other backends will follow after that. Getting rid of LLVM will maybe become a thing in the future, in the far future, once the alternatives become good enough. So again, the point is not to, first let's throw away the thing that works and then let's start working on an alternative. No, obviously that's not what you want to do, right? You want to get rid of LLVM once you have something at least roughly comparable to replace it with. So we want to start working on that first and then everything else later. x86 64 backend works for now for basically everything, but it's not overly useful because debug info is bad and the code is slow. So it's bad for both debug and release. Jacob is working hard on good debug info, so we should be able to start using it for debug builds soon. There you go. Nice. Thank you, Matthew, for the insider update. You know what? Maybe I should VIP people in the core team. Let me do that. So, okay. The idea is VIP means that that's somebody who can say things about Zig that you can trust. Let's go. I had to use field parent pointer today. I'm well on my way. Let's go. I had a stream a few days ago where I kind of had to rediscover how field parent pointer works by myself. As in, well, I know how field parent pointer works at its core. Like, okay, it's like a pointer difference from the current address, current pointer to the base pointer of the struct. But I didn't remember exactly how you usually write interfaces using field parent pointer, and it was funny. There was Johnny in chat who was like laughing at me not remembering things. In any case, okay, let's do some stuff. So we pushed everything from Zine. Now let's go update my personal website. Let's see, how do we do this? I guess I'm gonna leave the Zig website for a moment. And instead I'm gonna go to, what do we want to do? Christoph.it, first one in the list. And what we wanna do is, we want to make this work off of latest Zine, maybe? Yeah. So Zig fetch Zine at actually, what's the branch? SuperMD. Okay, so we updated Zine to the latest SuperMD commit, latest commit of this branch. So now, I guess we can try to Zig build serve. Fuck. Of course, I forgot to update my dependencies on Scripty and SuperHTML. What does Zig fetch do? Zig fetch downloads a dependency. When you pass --save, it also updates your zone file, marking that updating the relevant line. Oh, god damn it. Wait, this doesn't have any ... Wait, what's going on? Who's depending on ... SuperMD. Wait, what? Oh, it's the wrong one. Okay. Okay. File not found. Interesting. Okay, so we need to understand what's going on there. Let's see. Also, we'll unironically have incremental compilation soon. Makes a bunch of stuff work with fno-emit-bin or fmit-c. OFMT-c. I can do basic incremental updates to the compiler with OFMT-c and more complex ones with no emit-bin. Yep. Nice. What? How did you do that? I always go to GitHub to grab latest commit SHA. You can put a git ref after the pound sign. So you can give it a branch name, and that, a branch name is a tag to the head of the head. Well, the latest commit of a branch. Then you have head, which I guess it's implicit when you don't provide any. You can use tags in there as well. So all of these things work. Because in any case, what it does is it uses, I don't know, the Git library or something to resolve the ref to a commit. And that's it. Okay, so what's going on in here, man? Build, add website content, website impl, blah, 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 scan variant, unreachable. We got an unreachable in content 569 as we were scanning a variant. That is interesting. So that is interesting. Let's take a look at what's going on there then. Five, 6, 9. Set index there, make open path. Subpages index there. I mean, it is a make open path. So this should work. Oh, I see what the problem is. Maybe. The problem is, what happens if this is an empty string? Because we might not have any local code. Wait, is local code a string that's always present? Yes, it's not an optional. So I guess we pass in an empty string. Yeah, we pass in an empty string when we're not a multi-language website. And I guess trying to open something with an empty string doesn't, this thing doesn't like it. So how do we do this? I think that if there is no local code, we could default to simple. Like the local code could be simple, what we pass in here, but maybe making it optional is better. Because I think an empty local string in any case, yeah, you know what? Let's look optionalness. Let's use optionalness to express that the thing might be missing, and in other places it might be appropriate to do something different when the thing is missing. Yeah, we made them all optional. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that works for me. Okay, so that means that we still need to use local Zine as we test this stuff out. current status is that I ran Zig build watch and a few other args, build the compiler initially, make a simple change to the compiler, say changing a usage string, and then the reveal takes 1 second. Just jump to playing a random other stream I'd never seen before. Oh, X2, I think I read about this. I think it might be that they have like, swiping up and down. It's like, you know how everybody is now overly used to swiping everything everywhere. And like it's basically they're making it more, what's the expression? Brain rot friendly. So if you have brain rot and like you have to keep swiping, now you can do that also on Twitch. Can you actually confirm this? Because I don't really use Twitch on my phone pretty much at all. But I think that's what it is. Stern cut alternative in Zig. Ron, when you are manipulating strings, usually, what are you what part of the standard library are you using? Make a guess. Make one guess, and then I'll tell you what the answer is. Also, I don't know what N is in this context. Stern cut. std.mem. Yeah, that's a great guess. So I would say that that's kind of probably where you want to start looking into. Alternatively, there's also FMT, because you're messing around with strings. So let me see what stern cut does precisely. So these are like your suspects. What does stern cut do? Append characters from string. Appends the first num characters of source to destination, plus a terminating null character. Okay. So there's no, I don't think we have a direct equivalent of this. Basically, what would you do? What you would do in Zig is probably use fmt.printalloc or a variant of print of that kind to print, first the first string and then a second string, and then you pass a slice for the second string. Alternatively, if you want to do it more manually, it would be take the first string, you realloc it as a bigger buffer, and then you mem copy the correct slice from the correct slice to the correct slice. But that's very manual. And I don't think it would be particularly different than what print would do, I think. So. Doing an increment update of the string in a hello world takes a grand total of 3 milliseconds. Most of that is AST-gen overhead. The actual semantic analysis is 260 microseconds. Can you quickly look at the issue and tell me if this trick with git plus master is a solution? Well, to be clear, it wouldn't have to be master. It would be all URLs within files must point to archives that never change. However, the zfetch command in the readme.md as a URL that points to the devel git branch. Huh. Yeah. What's the problem? Yeah, this works. Like, this is, I would say that this is as by design as it gets, pretty much. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we built the website apparently successfully. I think there were some regressions that I wanted to tackle somewhere. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, for sure there were some. Like, what happened here? Oh, wait. Holy shit. Did I really? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my God. Okay, everybody, you're in for a treat. Holy shit. So, here's what happened. In my original code, in the code of my original website, I had these figures with titles and stuff. And it was very hard for me to make this stuff work. It was hacky to make this stuff work from Hugo. Then when I ported everything to Zine, I said, you know what? We don't have any of this machinery, so I'll just literally copy paste the HTML and embed the HTML stuff in my blog source code. So like if we look at the content stuff, this is simple, not just easy. I have these certain blocks with like inline text or something. Where is it? Wait, what? No, it's not that simple. Come on, man. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Maybe this is that simple. You know what? Maybe this is that simple after all. Okay, but I now remember. I know that I have an example of this somewhere. So that one is fine, I guess. Let's look at Zig's new relationship with LVM. Come on. Oh, this is an embed though. Sorry, this video does not exist. Holy shit. That video is kill. Wait, did I really not have any weird workaround? You know what? I think here's a way of finding out if I have workarounds or not. We go to the repo. And we look at my latest commits. Okay, there's one called oops. Update Zine, okay. Update Zine version. Wait, update Zine has a ton of changes in it though. Oh, I moved some stuff. Changed some CSS rules. I didn't change anything in content. Wait, are we like I think we might be good actually. Like I think that this website might be pretty much as good as it gets. I guess. Although I would like to see these being rebuilt from scratch. For real. So I wonder if images are fine. I don't think I have any image in most of them. Okay, here I have an embed. That's fine. Not tweet that is not found anymore. No images. The image is there. The fact that it's a figure and has data title, it's kind of sus to me because it shouldn't have that anymore. I'm surprised that it's like this. Let me take a look at 1 second at this blog post. It does wrap everything in a figure no matter what. Wait, is this really how I did it? HTML block, custom block heading, thematic break, inline, custom inline, text, code, image. Oh, it is. Holy shit, I kept this shit? Oh no, I kept this shit. I see, I kept this shit. That's why it is the way it is. Okay. Hey, Anne, what do you like about Zig? Why did you choose it for this project? And I watched some of your work with the Wordle stuff. I don't know exactly what your personal journey is. I can't know. I've seen some of it, obviously, but definitely not enough to really have a full understanding, if you can even achieve that. But I can imagine that some of your experience using C to program stuff is that on one hand, you get to really have, low-level control over stuff. Everything becomes harder and more annoying to do, but you have like super low-level control over everything. In my opinion, Zig is kind of like that, but with fewer downsides. So the idea is Zig as a programming language is roughly at the same level of abstraction as C. But on the other hand, it has many, many more modern tools at your disposal to express things while still, while never losing the connection between the low level. So, for example, let me think. I wish I had like a great example tailored to your use case, to what you were doing with Wordle. But I sorry, I haven't watched enough to really come up with anything of that kind. But I can promise you that if you were to try and write some of that stuff that you wrote in C with Zig, you would find that it's as performant. It's expressing the same baseline concept, but sometimes you just have better tuning for what you're doing. And better tuning means both like language constructs that are just a little bit too more polished than before, better compiler errors, and also the toolchain around your stuff is less annoying. For example, have you tried to compile your program for another machine? Like, I don't know, you're okay, you like Windows, so you're developing on Windows. Do you know how hard or easy it would be for you to build your program for Linux and give your program to somebody who uses Linux? You did use some terminal escape codes, but I believe that probably whatever you're doing on Windows works also on Linux, because I think you've been using mostly, you haven't gone into the alt screen of the terminal. So, let's say that maybe, okay, let's assume that your escape codes in the terminal don't break. How hard or easy is it for you to get a Linux version? Yeah, I would expect that. Yeah, I would expect your source code to probably mostly or entirely work. But that's the part where it gets kind of funny. Your code is mostly, if not entirely, okay, portable. But I actually challenge you to make a Linux build or a macOS build. It is not going to be easy. Or rather, the easiest way for you to do that is to get a Linux machine. So either you have a computer at home, or you spin up a CI thing, or somehow get your hands on a server that has Linux on it. You clone your repository, and then you build everything in there. You will find that C is a huge pain in the ass when it comes to this stuff, because you will have to use a different compiler. I think that right now you're using, I'm guessing, MSVC. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. And when you go to Linux, you can't use MSVC. You will use GCC or Clang. You could use Clang also on Windows. So, by the way, this is minor piece of advice. At some point, if you start getting more like, serious about supporting multiple platforms, probably Clang is not a bad choice, because you get Clang on Windows and on Linux and on macOS. So first of all, you will find that all their C compilers are slightly different in a very annoying ways. You will get warnings that you maybe don't get on Windows. But if you clone everything to the other machine, you can compile it and it works. But the more interesting question is, can you build for Linux from your computer? And the answer is, it's a huge pain in the ass to do with C and C++ toolchains. On top of that, if your project becomes a little bit more complicated, then you will start kind of needing a build system. And again, maybe this doesn't apply to something like a Wordle terminal application, but imagine a future where you're trying to do something more fancy. I don't know, like a GUI application or something. Let me tell you, there are no good solutions in the C/C++ ecosystems for that. Every single tool in there is plain bad. So with Zig, you kind of have a very streamlined way of doing all this stuff. So in conclusion, it's kind of like the same philosophy as C. It's very close to that. It differs in some ways, but it never differs in terms of, we have C is low level, and then we decide to be much more high level. It never happens like that. Actually, sometimes Zig decides to be more low level than C. For example, in C, you can reinterpret memory, like you can cast a number to something else and vice versa, back and forth, and do shenanigans with memory that you can also do with Zig, all of it. But Zig makes it more explicit. Like sometimes in C, you have these casts that are like implicit, and some of them are required to be very explicit in Zig so that people can see that that's what's happening for a variety of reasons. So obviously I'm biased. I work at the Zig Software Foundation. I do Zig all the time, etc. But to me, it's kind of like all the good stuff that you get from C without a good chunk of the bad stuff that is in the Zig ecosystem, in the C ecosystem. I kind of look at Zig as a cheat code to basically learn lower level programming without experiencing all the friction. I would like to try Zig, Odin, Rust, etc. in the future. I need to stay focused on C for now. Yeah, that's fair. And I think that you will find, so if when people ask me, should I learn C before I can learn Zig or something? I usually tell people no, because if you learn Zig, then you get to experience roughly the same stuff. And whenever you need a C-specific piece of knowledge, you can learn it in the context of Zig. So I'm not going to say, you basically, by using Zig, you get to learn only the stuff only the C stuff that really matters, and not the stuff that doesn't really matter much, like, I don't know, weird macro tricks. I hate C macros, and I think they're bad and obsolete, and not having to learn them much is, for example, one thing that it would be nice. And if you use Zig, you don't really have to learn C macros, which is great. That said, if you started this with C and that's like the path that you decided to take, I'm sure that there will be a good way for you to transfer your knowledge to all these other languages. Personally, I would only caution you against Rust because it's more high level than Zig and Odin. And in my opinion, if you got into C because you hang out in the handmade community and you're kind of trying to build an appreciation for that way of learning things and approaching problems and solutions, let me tell you, you will not find much of that in Rust. Be warned. That said, there are many other reasons why it might be a good idea to learn Rust. Just be aware that you will definitely lose that line when going to Rust. And by the way, for people maybe listening and saying, wait, is this guy a Rust hater? I don't know. I don't think so, maybe. But in this specific case, I know that Anne hangs out in the handmade community. I know what the handmade community cares about. And I know that if you're trying to if you want to be part of that ecosystem, like the thing that you're trying to build an appreciation for and learn is a perspective that really Rust doesn't try to embody. Zig does so, Odin does so way more than Rust. That's the entirety of it. Okay, to conclude though, as for the specifics of my static site generator, the point of using Zig is, long story short, that as long as your website is small, you can use whatever you want. But once you kind of, get past a certain volume, you kind of need your stuff to be efficient. And otherwise you get a very subpar experience. So I'm using Zig because I want a static site generator that is fast. I do a ton of static sites because that's what I don't know. That's what I ended up doing a bunch of for a variety of reasons. Like I run a conference, and it turns out that your conference needs a website, and it's the website is kind of an important part of running a conference. And a static website actually is good enough for 99% of what goes in a conference website. And I have a bunch of websites like this. And I originally started with a JavaScript static site generator that would take like literal minutes to build 12 pages, which is embarrassing. And after that, I moved to Hugo, which is written in Go, which I really liked, but also, and it was much faster, but also now I got to a point where I'm opinionated enough that I want things to be sometimes different than how Hugo does them, and sometimes better. Like, I feel that some changes that I want to make are not necessarily universally better. It's just different, it's up to taste. But while some other things I do believe they can be improved, and I do think that I'm improving them in my implementation. I look at Zig as a, how did nobody think of this before? I remember sending an email at some point to Andrew of that kind, telling him, holy shit, comp time is exactly how metaprogramming should work. I really loved Lisp metaprogramming in the past, and I remember telling him, holy shit, your comp time is basically, it's pretty much Lisp metaprogramming, but without the parentheses. Anyway. For me, the deal breaker that really made me fall in love is comp time and all it allows to do. I'm learning C so I can make Win32 apps. I'm not super into the handmade aspect personally. Oh, I see. Then, you know what? I stand corrected. Though I do agree with it, of course. Yeah, I do think that the handmade community has is correctly pushing for a way of approaching software development that is not mainstream. And while the mainstream mentality has has issues. I mean, it is not. I think it's universally agreeable. Like, everybody can agree that a lot of software out there is too slow and buggy than it should be. And some of it's because of certain software development practices that are like not really conducive to better software. They're conducive to, I don't know, things. But okay, so if you're not as into the handmade aspect, then you know what, Rust is probably a valid alternative for sure. My conference is I guess we can have a new one. It's software you can love. And you will find that it's not too different from things that are being said in the handmade community, although there are some differences. So, you know what? I'll read what I wrote on the website. Maybe I wrote something smart. For some of us, creating software is an intimate act. We care deeply about the experience that results from our work, just like a painter or musician takes pride in their art. Software You Can Love conferences have a main day where you can expect to see talks about supporting the creation of music, generative art, cross-stitching, and more. Some talks will be about rethinking the basic building blocks of computing, while others will tackle big questions like, does technology destroy art? Unfortunately, a lot of software out there is not software you can love. Many of us are forced to write user-hostile software at work, and elegant solutions are often discarded in the pursuit of extravagant business models. As software you can love, we also want to learn how to protect ourselves from dark patterns, both as software engineers and users. If you too want to celebrate the art of creating software for humans, come join us. So actually, I would say that more specifically, there are a lot of parallels with what Abner is doing at his conference. If I had to point out some differences, I would say that Handmade is more centered around people who do video game development. The Zig community, not as much. Of course, there's people who do games in the Zig community, but it's not as central as it is. Like, I would say that probably if you look at Handmade historically, both the audience and the speakers are mostly people who are involved in the creation of video games. So they are like more hardcore programmers in that sense. The Zig community is more varied in that sense. And Software You Can Love is, there is usually a technical day where we talk about programming, deep programming topics that tend to be centered around Zig most of the time. But the main day of the conference is usually geared towards also people who are not necessarily programmers. It has to be people interested in technology, involved in the creation of software in one way or another, but it's not programming topics. With the limits that sometimes I don't get enough talk applications that are high level enough to really fulfill what I would hope to really fulfill that. So sometimes there is some programming that bleeds also into the main day. But the goal is to, I think that one of my favorite talks from Software You Can Love ever is Does Technology Destroy Art? And that has nothing to do with programming, or rather, it's not a programming talk. And I would really say that the idea behind Software You Can Love is also partially political, in a sense that is political, but not high-level politics. It's like, I don't know, tactical-level politics. With the idea of, I guess the best perspective to explain this would be, you work at a company where you're being literally asked to write bad software. And bad not because it's not using the library that you like, it's not using the technology that you like. No, it's bad because the design is clearly designed to be user hostile. Like, imagine that you're working at a airline company and you're making the website with all the purposely misleading pop-ups and like checked by default upgrades, or all the bad shit that airline companies do. For me personally, having worked in a place kind of like that, it really felt bad. It really felt bad to have to be the person who works on that. And I would really like to be able to, figuratively speaking, punch all these people in the nuts. And the problem is that obviously, you can do that non-figuratively. You can literally punch people in the nuts. Once one person gets punched in the nuts, you lose your job, and that's the end of it. But ideally, if you can figure out ways of understanding the processes that make software development happen, ideally you can use that to your advantage, so that you get a chance to work on software that isn't user hostile. Because ultimately, that was something really, I don't know, even debilitating for me. And I think there's other people like this out there. That's an interesting perspective relevant to the industry I work in. Yeah, this is unfortunately relevant for a lot of people. I think a lot. I mean, as I wrote it here, like a lot of us are forced to write user hosted software at work, and again, there's a lot of things that you can worry about when it comes to software. You can complain about clean code. You can complain about inefficient code. You can complain about, I don't know, Scrum and project managers and whatever. And there's plenty of valid discussion to be had there. But if your goal is to increase the amount of software you can love that's being created out there, I would argue none of these topics should be your main focus. I think that there is something else that you have to focus on first. And I don't mean that, again, and I don't really necessarily mean that in a, purely altruistic perspective. Like, to me, it's not that I really love random person that I never met, and so I want to give them the best software ever. That's not exactly it. The point is that I look at what I perceive what I do as, I don't know, an intimate act. I care about the craft, right? And the craft, I believe that the proper non-distorted form of the craft is not to write user hostile software. I think it's wrong. It's like, I don't know, you're studying medicine and you have a class on how to kill patients, and it's like, no, that's not the point of medicine, man. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you as a medic want, your goal is to save everybody on the planet. But man, if you take pride in what you're doing as a medic, holy shit, your patient should survive and recover, right? That's kind of the same idea here. So ultimately, I guess my point is that I kind of wish there were more good jobs than there are now. I think we have a ton of the majority of our industry is jobs that are not that good. They may be good for in terms of money, maybe, but they're in terms of what you end up doing, they're not all that great. So I wish there were more good tech jobs. That's kind of the idea. Let's see. I have no opinions really on Rust or any other language, but even on, not even on C, other than what I can say, just as a beginner, is frustrating. Yeah, C is very frustrating. It's like my approach to food. I know what I like, but I'll try anything once. That's fair. When the compile times are going to get better? They're going to get better when the custom backends become a thing, which is going to be soon. So the answer to your question, Hamza, is probably in the next few months. By the end of the year. Not on every platform. I think it's going to take a while before all platforms roll out. But the most common ones, like x86 64 Linux, is probably going to come out fairly soon. And as Matthew was saying in chat earlier, yeah, and that's going to be the beginning of it. Okay, so what were we doing here? We were looking at my website, so everything was fine. Oh yeah, for example, here's my pet peeve. Here's the thing that I used to love complaining about. Nowadays, actually now I care less, but I used to love complaining about how Twitter would not allow you to turn off notifications, and the only button that you had was not now. And I find that like infuriating. Also Windows, right? There's no way of saying, I have Windows that keeps nagging me to upgrade to version 11, and I don't want to. And they keep hiding the button to stay on version 10. It's always more in the corner, smaller, it's a link, and then you have to go through like 5 screens. It's not enough that you say, dude, I don't care, just I want to stay where I am. No, you have to like confirm your choice 10 fucking times before your computer allows you to keep using it. Allows you to use it again. Ah, man. Okay, so I think that this website is pretty much in very good shape. Let's look at the layouts, because I think there might be some improvements there. So for example, let's look at anchors. Yeah, so this is an external link, that's fine. External link, that's fine. External link, that's fine. External link, that's fine. External link. I think they might all be external links. And this one is, yeah. So this one is okay. I mean, we kind of, that's interesting though. Ooh, that's a thing that I haven't implemented. So here I'm trying to link. So this is the RSS link, and I want to link to the RSS version of the index page. So the RSS version is defined like this. The index page is defined as an alternative version of the index page. And by the way, I think that some of this stuff can become content now. Oh, this is going to be good, man. this is gonna be good. Yeah, like everything from, well, this is styled so we don't put it in content, but like this stuff, this can be content. This can totally be content. Like these two things. There is no reason why they shouldn't be. What elements are we using here? Oh, the LDT. The LDT is not really a thing in Markdown. That's unfortunate. DT, DD, DT, DD, DT, DD. Now, this is not really a thing in Markdown. Okay, in any case, let's fix that last thing. So the idea is there's an alternative version of this page. Maybe alternatives should have a name so that you can refer to them via name. And then when you get a page, you can also get the alternative version of it. Maybe. So here's, I think, what I would like to implement. This is the idea. I want to be able to do page dot So if I do dot alternatives, I access this. But I kind of would like to have a better way of expressing this, I think. Okay, you know what? I don't have yet. I know that I want to do this eventually, but I don't have anything specific really. I know that it is a problem. I don't have a solution on hand. So you know what? I feel like that this is pretty much as good as it gets. So let's push Zine. And then Zig fetch Zine SuperMD. Okay, so we have updated the website. So I would say this is done. This is done. Let's go to Zine SSG. Okay, let's see. We're still using local Zine. The problem with Zine SSG is that, well, to really update, we could update what we have, but also we kind of want to write new documentation, which we don't have right now. So we could update ziggylang.io instead. Although, I mean, for ziggylang, I also don't have anything really that I want to add. Oh no, there is actually one nice improvement for ziggylang. You know what? Let's go to ziggylang first. Okay, let's see what's going on. Expected for arguments found 2. Holy shit, is this obsolete? Did I not save this? Oh, no, it's down here. Static dir path. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So we don't have static assets anymore. Now we only have assets. So that means that we need to move static to assets. And in assets, we have, a bunch of fonts that we probably only mentioned from the CSS. And we have at least CNAME that needs to be uploaded unconditionally. So static assets. I don't remember what goes in there. It's a list of name. So CNAME is one. What else do we have in here? Well, let's start with this one. Then index, maybe base. So let's look at base and let's see what we do with regards to CSS stuff. Oh man, look at this. We even have wrong HTML syntax in here. Yep, HTML elements cannot self-close. Who knew, huh? Ooh, and this is an HTML file. It's not even a SHTML file. Oh man, this website is very old. So let's go to do this. See the layouts. Why do I have? Oh no, I have stuff that is obsolete. Oh shit. I don't think this is gonna work. I guess I can do this. Could be worse. Oh man. Okay. Whew. So we have updated, in theory, everything. Let's look at how we import CSS stuff. Oh, no. So previously, we were relying on the concept that static assets were installed automatically. All of them were always installed unconditionally, but now there is no concept like this anymore in Zine. Now it's just every asset needs to be only gets installed if it gets referenced correctly by if it gets referenced correctly by something like a template or a markdown file. So we want to do site.asset. And I think that fonts CSS is good enough. .link. There you go. You know what? We can even do this. Okay. Ooh, we also got auto formatting going on. Man, this is gonna be so nice. So we have proper links. Ooh. $site.page. Documentation getting started. .link. There we go. Okay, let's look at what we have in logs. Oh, have that. Ton of CSS. Nothing much after that. Okay. Page. Usual self-closing tag that we don't have anymore. Not much after that. Fine. Index. Oh, index we have stuff. Look at all these things. Okay, let me see. Do we build? Let's get to a building state and then let me show you the transformation. This is going to be fun. What do we have in here? What's the problem? Documentation has extend. Oh no, self-closing tag. Where? Oh yeah, in here. Oh, we have other errors. Self-closing element. Closing element. There we go, man. Oh, this is so good. Also, man, look at this huge PRE. If only there was an easy way to align all these attributes vertically. Oh, first of all, we probably want to... Maybe we can put a space in here. Come on. Oh, it's inside the PRE, so that's why it doesn't want to format this. That's annoying. So that means that also it will refuse to do this, will it? No, it won't. Oh, that works. That's nice. You know what? I'll take this. Can we do this? This can stay vertical. Okay, I'll take this. Nice. Nice. Okay, so this can be get with an exclamation mark. So it has to be there, otherwise it's an error. Now fallback. Let's see if we build now. We don't. Oops. See what we got in here. Error fetching template base HTML. Oh, right. All these templates refer to one another as HTML still. Okay. How are we doing now? Script runtime error. Especially evaluate one of these things, but unable to access fonts CSS, error file not found. Huh. Because moving static into assets moved it as a subdirectory. God damn it, man. Okay. Panic IO. Panic IO. That is interesting. Panic IO. Panic IO should not happen, I think. Why is it happening? So Panic IO, I know where it should be. No, actually, I'm not sure because I think there's more than one place where I do Panic IO. Like it's let's enable debug. Let's see the panic trace. Yeah, load page ended up in a Panic IO. That is surprising to me. That's probably a bug that we need to fix from the latest changes. File not found. Let's see what we're trying to load in 661. It's probably another page. I know what it is, but... So what we're doing is... Oh, we're trying to find... We're trying to find the parent section path of a page. And that fails. And that happens when trying to find one of the pages that we mentioned by name. It's kind of interesting. But the idea is we have found the page. We're just asking ourselves what's its parent thing. PS path is to do index file path, join. So this is the file that we're trying to, the path that we're trying to access. Index dir path, PS, a hash, and this hash is not matching. So the problem is that this freaking hash is not matching. I bet you that that's the problem. And I think I understand what's going on here, maybe. I think that we have changed earlier how the hashing works slightly. And I think that that's what's tripping this new thing. Out of curiosity, just to test, what if I were to do this? Don't expect it to automatically fix everything, but out of curiosity. Yeah, we still end up with the same problem, don't we? Yeah. Okay, let's do some print debugging because this hash is probably busted. So log.debug parent section index. Well, you know what? Let's use the same name. That's what it is. Yes, index file path. So let's do this. And we probably want also content to log this stuff. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't have logging in it, and I don't think we can even really enable it. Let's see. What do we get here before the panic? Loading template, blah, 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 templates. Wait a second. Dude? Where's my debug log before 663? Oh, this is layout cache. Also too few arguments. What? I busted... Oh no. If it's too few arguments, it means that somewhere there's a debug thing that doesn't have enough arguments. Oh, there you go. Here it is. PS 3A, and I bet you that this file doesn't exist. Like Zine PS exists, it's just that this hash doesn't match what it should. And this should correspond to log index.md. And PS only contains 3 files. I guess what we want to print are maybe these specific components. Yeah, I think we want to print these 3 guys, basically. Because they all get joined together, but we want to know what the original components were. First of all, and then we want to see the equivalent of this in the build script, and we'll find a mismatch. That's because that's what's going on. So one is this path, one is PS, and one is the hash. Okay, so it's actually, well, very straightforward. Okay, so that means that the problem is not here, but the problem is in our computation of the hash. The hash, let's see. If the page ends with /index.md, which is actually the case in here, because here we're trying to do log/index, so this should leave us with just log. Oh, you know what? I bet you that their name keeps a slash somewhere or something. Strip the last component from a file path. Strip a file component from a file path. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should. I don't need their name. I think I can straight up do this. MD rel path. Let's see if this makes anything better. It does. So now the two implementations behave equally, and now we get a different error. Nice. Okay, so page.content somewhere in documentation. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Permalink. Deprecated. Use link. Yeah. One failed. What happened? There's too much spam. Wait, what? What's the error message, man? Style ID equals insanity. Huh. Oh, the problem is that we have inline HTML in our markdown, and we don't want that anymore. Nice. That's very nice. So everything else builds except that one page. Struct unions.md, huh? Yep. Okay, well, I think this is kind of like simple. Let's style ID equals insanity. Style ID plus priori. Oh man. Oh shit. Okay. So here's what's going on in here. I want to style the subsequent code block, and I didn't have a way of doing that. Okay, so I think we don't need this trick anymore. We can do this now. Block ID insanity. We can go in the documentation thing, and we can literally put this in here without the style tags. Without the weird PRE stuff, we can just say PRE under insanity. That works. We can't auto indent CSS yet, but we will in the future. We will be able to do it soon. TM. Okay, so this is it. And here, instead of placing the entire content in one place, we can try to be a little bit more nuanced about it, maybe. Let me think. You know what, though? I don't really want to give it... I don't want really to do a block here. What I wish I could do here, it's like, say, this. Or something along those lines. Let me think. Maybe like this. Although we're missing what it's the subject, because we can give IDs to blocks, we can give IDs to elements and things like that, but we can't give IDs to like a code sample. I would also, you know what? I would also argue that this huge chunk of garbage shouldn't even be in this file. Like this is a disgrace to keep in the markdown file. So what I'm thinking of doing is this. Like code asset, maybe asset insanity JSON.id insanity. Yeah, like the idea is this is a code, this is a piece of code that comes from insanity.json. Also, we should probably say set the language. Yeah. I think this is actually reasonable. Oh, man. What is this file? It's struct unions. Okay. Okay, so we have this file. We try to put it in here as a code asset like this. And this should take care of everything, I think. The question is, do we have code? Does is code actually a thing? Field not found. No, code is not a thing. You know what? This might be a good moment to introduce this concept then. SuperMD context. So we have blocks, we have images, we have video, we have link. It's time to add code. Okay, code. Okay, what's code? What does code have? Code has a source of some kind. It cannot be a URL. It can be an asset, a side asset, a build asset, yes. It's not a page. Let's say that it's not a page. It doesn't have target, but it does have language. Okay, what else can you set? So ID, classes and stuff, it's automatic. Don't need to specify it, but I think that pretty much it. Oh no, you know what? No, there's more stuff that would be nice to that we could specify. Something like lines to highlight, for example, like highlight this, highlight the yeah, this line, this other line. Something like show line numbers, for example. Maybe. You know what? We can implement this stuff in the future, though. Okay, so this is code, and so now we have a concept of code, which is nice, but this is not going to build because we haven't implemented everything yet, but it's nice to see the build error that we're going to get. You know what I should do? Prominent compile errors. Yeah, the problem now is that our HTML renderer doesn't know how to handle code. So that's the error that we get, which is pretty nice. So go into HTML. And now we have to worry about this stuff as well. So when we do render directive, it's a block, it's an image, it's a video, it's a link, it's a piece of code. Okay. How do we do this? So we want to print some opening tag. We want definitely to print classes and stuff. So we definitely want to do this. This is, we have to understand if we are in line, I think, or no, if we, this is not in line, this has to be blocked. So this is code, PRE. Although, do we add these tags to code or to PRE? I think we give them to code. Ooh. I guess I need to learn what it is that we normally do. Do the classes go to PRE or do they go to the code thing? Let's take a look at ziglang.org. Class goes to Zig. Oh, PRE goes over code. Right. Okay, so there you go. No, this is fine. So this is PRE code. Maybe gets an ID. Maybe gets some classes based on attributes. We can also do lang equals. Maybe. Do we do as classes? Maybe we should do it as classes. I mean the language. Yeah, let's give it the language as a class. So we print class equals something unconditionally. We print the language ID. Oh, but it might not have one. Huh. There you go. The idea is, if there's a language we added as the first class, although this kind of demands us to put a space in here at the way it's working right now. Okay, let's put a space, fine. Put a space. If there is... yeah, why am I adding a space afterwards? Why am I not adding a space? Why am I not adding a leading space? Well, I guess that's also not exactly correct. Fine, whatever. Okay, in any case, we do all this stuff. But this, we don't know if it should happen like this. It should happen like this instead. If, well, language. Okay. So if any of the two things is defined, we close the quotes. So this prints code in pre-array encode. What else do we want to print? I guess the next thing that we want to print is want to close this thing. And then we want to print the contents. So how do we print the contents? Let me think. On exit, we want to print close pre, close code. Okay, so this works, but this is not the full story because this is not the full story. We need to print also the contents. So in the other examples, we always deal with these things as links. But in this case, it's not a link. In this case, we want to embed the thing. So we kind of want to call into some rendering stuff. Let me think on how we want to do this. I guess the first question is, when we parse the Markdown file, here we deal with blocks. We analyze blocks for the first time. Not only blocks, sorry, directives. Where's my switch on directive? There we go. So block, we do nothing. Otherwise, we do the source thing, blah, blah, blah. Report that a locale could not be found in Markdown link directive. Implement linking to pages in other locales. Page asset, site asset, build asset. Right. And for each one of these guys, we compute a link to the asset. We mark the asset for installation. We collect the asset, and we're good to go. Yeah, but now we need something dedicated for code, I think, because it's an embeddable thing. So it has to work differently. It cannot come from URL. It can come from a page. No, it can only be one of these three guys. So we can repeat some of the code. Oh, we don't have a val thing to switch on. We have code, so we can do this. This should be code.source. Question mark. Yeah, so the idea is if it's a page asset, yeah, we do asset finder, and this finds our asset. Can I call it asset? Yeah, I can call it asset. Okay, so this is our asset. I want to find the asset, and so this should successfully find the asset. Maybe actually we don't know because it could return an error. So if it returns an error, we want to do this error reporting thing. God damn it! I think this needs to be broken up into a function. Okay, what does it need? N.range. Node, probably. The original source. What else do you need? The error. MD rel path. Fine. MD path. Fine. FM offset. Oh, man. Okay. And then is section. I don't know what that is. Node assets for this page must be placed under a subdirectory that share the same name. Oh, okay. Okay. Any more problems here? No. In here, we're good now. So now I can call report error. Directive, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Why am I not getting suggestions for this stuff. What's the problem? Yeah, it's an unused local constant, man. No, can't get any help. Okay. And md source and the URL path. Okay, so with this we report the error. Then we need to do the same up here, maybe? Guess we can do it like this. Otherwise, what does that find a return? Find return is a value. Right, it's either an error or an asset that has meta filled out. So here's what I'm thinking. We need the content, clearly. We clearly need the content. But where do we stuff this? Maybe we don't set it to URL. We leave it as is. Or we set it to... You know what? We set it to URL, but the URL is not a URL. It's like a path. And we know that it is a path because that's what it is for code. For code directives. And when we encounter this, we open the file and... Well, why do we need to open the file even at all? Why don't we just print the contents? Yeah, we just format the contents. Here we open the file. And actually I think that up until now, opening the file has never been done in a coordinated way, so we can just straight up read the file, place its contents inside a URL string and just call it a day. Should we do that? What's in an asset? There's a full path to the asset, and that's kind of what we care about more than anything else. Asset union kind, page, build, site, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we don't even do any of these things in here and we just do nothing for code. And we do this somewhere else, but we need to report errors if this stuff is not found. So no, reporting errors here. You know what? We report errors. Yeah, okay, that works for me. We use the URL case. I think that's what we do. Yeah. So we do directive dot kind dot code dot source equals URL equals what? Asset dot path. underscore meta dot path. I think that's how it is. Yeah, meta path. Okay. And now in HTML, we know that if we see a code, URL is actually a path. Yeah, read file alloc. And we have syntax highlight. We have highlight code. How does highlight code work in here? Language name, code, and a writer. That's perfect. So read file alloc, GPA file path is code.source.url. Source.?URL. And max bytes is std.math.max int u32. Can we error out in here? We can error out, but how can we error? You know what? I'll try first, but we might not have the ability to error out this way. In any case, const, well, source, I guess. And what we want to do is try highlight code, GPA, lang name. Oh, yeah, to be fair, we only highlight code if there is code to highlight. If we don't have, if there's nothing. So I guess we want to do if code.language else try w.write all source. There you go. Okay, let's see how we do. Bunch of compiler errors that we're gonna need to solve. I can already tell. Switch must handle all possibilities. Cache 860. Oh. No field name meta in union context value. Oh, you're right, because this is not exactly an asset. This is it's a value, and what we want to do here is value dot asset. No field member function named write all in generic writer blah 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 blah. Oh, there's an uppercase L in there. I just noticed. Error invalid node type is not a member of the destination error set. Slurpee. So, this should not. So this should not fail. Well, technically there's out of memory, but whatever. IO and highlight code really can error out in so many weird ways. Let's double check that those are actually coming from that one. Oh yeah, they are. Invalid language version mismatch, no language. Oh god, man. What's IO panic? IO panic is, well, we failed to open a file, but it's a panic and not better error reporting because we kind of checked before that the file exists. So if we got here and the file doesn't exist, it means that there's a programming error. Because we should have, if the file didn't exist, we should have reported it already. of course, there's also the problem that we check a file at a point in time and then we access the file afterwards. So technically there could be, how can I say, since there's some distance in time between checking and accessing, that something could have changed in the meantime, but it's like, man, the fuck are you doing with your static site? You should be doing this stuff in the first place. So it's not a big deal. It definitely would be nicer if we checked the existence of the file by opening it. But it's fine. It's fine. So this cannot be a try either. The problem now is that we have highlight code that wants to report errors, but it's kind of too late. Yeah, the problem is that this is kind of too late. So you know what? I think that we don't do this here because we need to report errors when highlighting the code. So this has to have already happened. So this means that in here, basically, in this case, source.url contains the pre-rendered source code. And so we don't do any of this. And instead we do try w.print write all. We write all code.source.?.url. Is there any reason not to leave files open? There could be some reasons in terms of number of file descriptors that you consume and that you might run out of. But in this case, the reason why I'm not trying to tidy this part up too much is because I know that at some point I'm going to switch from a multiprocessing architecture to a multi-threaded one. So one process with multiple threads. Yeah, I'm going to do that for sure. So that's why I'm not stressing out too much. It's going to be a polish pass that I'll do in the future. So long story short, no. Here we do this stuff. So source is going to be read file unlock of what? Value.asset._meta.path. We want to use highlight code. But we also need a writer. We don't have a writer for that, so we need something else. So highlight, huh? Highlight, I believe, exists inside of Zine. And we expose it from Zine. Okay, perfect. So layout, access that stuff from inside Zine. Okay. Okay, let's get all the missing stuff. Out of memory, not found, unknown, invalid syntax, invalid node type, invalid field, invalid capture, invalid structure, invalid language, version mismatch, no language. I think we want to turn no language and invalid language into actual errors and then expect the rest to not really be a thing. Actually, also no language is impossible because there has to be a language. So invalid language. On Linux is limited to 1024 per process. It's also something that you can tweak. And I think there might be plenty of places where actually it's lower than that, maybe even. But also you can change it to be much higher. But yeah, it's part of life. I think there should be a way of telling Asset Finder, look, while you're busy finding, instead of doing access, we're doing access, right? Oh, wait a second. This guy is not the path refine build asset doesn't exist, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, instead of doing access, we could say, you know what? We actually plan to open this bad boy. Can you read it in its entirety while you're at it? Sometimes we don't want to do that. Sometimes we want to make sure that the file exists, but we don't want to load it into memory. Like imagine that you're linking into, you want to link a 500 megabyte video file. Well, yes, you want to copy that in the output folder. You want to make that be part of your website, but then you don't really want to load it into memory because you're not going to do anything about it. Your point is just to test that the asset exists and link to it. So sometimes it makes sense. Some other times, not so much. Okay. Invalid language. I guess we can report an error, like in of this kind. Also, I think the reporting errors would kind of fail everything, right? This is only doing the debug.print. But we're not, it wasn't fatal. I think this error should also process.exit 1. Okay, let's see. We report everything, but the error is, what is the error? Or we can do something better. Language. Language something is not recognized. Was not recognized. Whatever, invalid language. Unknown language. Fine. Switch must handle all possibilities. 894. Oh, yeah. Syntax error found in a content file. Built-in not found in code. Which one? Asset, language, or ID? God damn it, dude. God damn it, dude. I probably forgot to wire something somewhere. Nothing crazy, but still. So code, blah, blah, blah. Call, pointer start, directive, kind code, blah, 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 validate. We don't use that yet. Built-ins, call utters. Oh, yeah. I forgot to rename this to language. There you go. Did it actually work? Not exactly, huh? So first of all, syntax highlighting doesn't seem to be happening. Second of all, the styling doesn't seem to apply. Let's see what's going on. So code does get its ID, and it also does get the right class, but then no syntax highlighting. Okay. So let's take a look at the code a little bit better then. This is happening here, clearly, not as it should. So we're not entering this code path for some reason. So the code directive should contain language. And this bad boy should be set in language. Language was definitely set. Oh, am I dumb? I'm dumb. I copy pasted this and I didn't update it, did I? There you go. Okay, so this should solve some of it, but our CSS is still not kicking in, although the problem is in our CSS, not nowhere else. Why is our CSS not kicking in? I'm saying that this happens to PREs under Insanity. Now, this is happening to... Ooh, actually, this was... What was this saying before I changed it? Oh, this was applying something to the PRE. Well, we're only applying stuff to the code. That is interesting indeed. I'm thinking that maybe we should give classes to the PRE, not the code, if there are extra attributes, and the code should only have the language attribute. I think that's not a bad idea. That's probably how we should render this stuff. So let's go into HTML. Let's do the right thing now. So we want to do this, PRE. Okay, if code.language, else. You can do it like this. Oh, no, that's actually the opposite of what I wanted to do. So attributes go inside the PRE. Should IDs also go inside the PRE? The ID should also go inside the PRE. And the code should not have this stuff. It's the PRE that should have this stuff. Okay. Okay, one step at a time. So we open the PRE. If there's an ID, we print the ID. If there are classes, we print the classes. Then we close the PRE. We open code. code should have only one class. The language, if it's defined. Otherwise, it shouldn't have anything. Although we could give it a class attribute and keep it empty. I guess. Guess we could do this, right? In any case, we give it that. Code closes. We print the body. And then we print closing tags afterwards. Okay, so how does that look like? Well, now this is a little bit better. It's still huge. So this is a PRE that has ID insanity, that contains code, class JSON, and that contains all the rendered JSON. That's nice. Now in here, we want to change this to be just pound insanity. And that fixes everything. There we go. Okay. What a tiny adventure, huh? But now what we gain is the ability to embed code in Markdown in a more like semantic way, which I think it's great. Asset insanity.json, language JSON, ID insanity. I think it's nice to have language as an explicit concept. We could, in theory, try to infer the language from the file extension. That would totally work, actually. We actually have the technology to do that. The problem is, what if a file has a given extension, but then you don't want to syntax highlight it in the code? So, yeah, I think it's fine this way. At least for now. Okay, so that's perfect. So this is, now everything builds, everybody's happy, everything works like a charm. That's amazing. Here's what I wanted to improve. I wanted to improve the front page, because right now the front page, index.md has, oh no, it has these samples as like multi-line things in here. Like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on, man? No. This is horrible. This was like a huge workaround that I did in the past because I didn't have the ability to inline things the way I wanted. Now I can. Now I actually can. Now I actually can turn this content into proper content. So let's start by going into index and grabbing the content that should not be in here, like this stuff. I'm going to leave that as a placeholder. Okay, let's see how this is going to end up looking. So these can be summed up as the first. Well, you know what? We don't even give it a title. There's no point. This is the first section. We save the layout, which kills this part. And then we bring it back with var equals $page.block. First section. It's probably very close, but it is not guaranteed to be perfect. Also, Ziggy got corrupted because we crashed while loading the page, as one does. Let's take a look at what it says here, like how it looks like here precisely. Huh. No, it looks exactly the same. So we didn't even suffer any kind of strangeness, I think. Like, out of curiosity. Yeah, it's like H1. Oh, we want to omit the H1. That's for sure. Okay, so that's the H1 doesn't print anything because it's empty, but we don't want it. I guess we could automatically not print it if it's empty. In any case. So yeah, H2, H3, P, H3, P, H3, P, H3, P, P. Yeah, the difference is that these are two different paragraphs. I'm not sure if those here are two different paragraphs. Oh, they totally are. I mean, okay, it's the exact same. Okay, we nailed it. We really nailed it first try. So yeah, now basically the content page. Hey, I'm lag. How goes it? So I had the front page of ziglang.org that had basically the entire homepage was inside HTML because, you know, you need fancy layout that you can't achieve from Markdown. And so everything flew into here. But now I'm reclaiming the content back into the main Markdown file with the amazing and unbelievable concept of blocks. So now the first block has been ported, and now it's time for the second thing. So second section. So schema language for creating blah, blah, blah. Wait, I swear you showed me this like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, totally. It's like I've implemented it and now I'm using it. Like now I'm basically running through my websites and upgrading them to the new system. When I'm like, I haven't touched this website in a while. So this website doesn't have all the latest and greatest juicy stuff. So yeah, now I'm getting it up to speed. So now this becomes var equals $page.block second section. I save. This produces a build error because it says, wait, content section, second section doesn't exist. What we have right now is only first section. That's fine. We are gonna create it now. This is gonna be juicy. So let's see if we actually render this correctly. So this is a huge link. Starts with the square brackets there, ends the square brackets here. And the link is a $page. $link, sorry, dot page documentation / struct unions, and that's it. Will we render these things correctly? There's a P. Oh. We built. Let's see. It works. It totally works. Oh, but we print second section. Let's not print second section. Nice. And now this link is also checked. Like if we mess up and we're trying to link to a page that doesn't exist, now we get a build error. Ah, that's so good, man. Tooling supremacy. Let's port the third section. That one is going to be super easy. And then we're good to go. Oh, also, you know what? I'm even doing this in a suboptimal way because I can do even better. Instead of creating like a phantom title, I can turn this into a section. So I don't even need to come up with like H1s that don't exist. Yeah. And now there's some problems because now we do want to print the first title that corresponds to the block. This becomes like this. Yeah, now this is a build error because there's a bunch of HTML in there. Yeah. So let's fix this. There we go. We built successfully. That is a nice improvement. Now I think the third part, the final part should be turning these inlined examples into separate files, maybe into actual files that then we embed in the layout manually. Since now we can do that. Although the tiny ones are so annoying. Where do we use struct and map? Oh, struct and map used to be used and now we don't use them anymore. These guys can go. So these ones are actually real. You know what? I think as is, it's already a pretty good improvement. So about getting started. Also, this goes to changelog. Why is this going to changelog? What does getting started go to? Goes to VS Code, but this one goes to changelog. This should go to getting started, not to changelog. I think that let's take a look at how the prevnex stuff is done. So, documentation, spec about parser scalars. Okay, layouts. We have page and documentation. Is they all use documentation? I guess log uses pages. Log uses log. So who uses page? Index, log, doc, 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 doc. I think we don't use page at all. So let's get rid of page. What's in page even? Not much. You know what? I'll leave it. I'll leave it here for now. Whatever. So what we want to do is look at documentation then, and see how we do the stuff. So footer has, if there's a prev page, then link it with its title. If there's a next one, link it with its title. Yeah, it's very basic. So the problem is that we are considering log somehow a page that we want to link to. Tree content. Documentation does not have an index.md. That's the problem. The problem is that documentation doesn't have its own index. Oh, that is bad. And by not having an index.md, it is not a section. And so prev next bleeds into other pages, into other sections. Yeah, because log is the other page. It's another page that exists in that same section. Yep, that makes total sense. So we could, in theory, add another if special rule for it, or we give an index.md to documentation. Now, what do we put in index.md? I'm not so sure. Well, considering that so when you click documentation, it starts with from about. Maybe about should be the index.md. And then we alias it into about. Let's do that. So cd content documentation move about to index.md. And now this is a section. And oh my god, everything pooped itself now. What's happening? Page documentation about doesn't exist. Fair. That's a nice error. Thank you. So I think this is in base. Some of this is just documentation. or not. Fail to find a parent section match for a page. Documentation index.md. Section path Zine S documentation/s. No, that's wrong. You need to go up one level. Yep, that is indeed wrong. You need to go up one level, my dude. Why are you not going up one level, my dude? You totally need to go up one level, my dude. Yeah, like if path ends with index.md and the other path minus. Wait, no, the problem is not here. The problem is in content. We generated this stuff wrong. I think it's at the end of scan variant that this stuff happens. Yeah, it's in right index. Parent section index. Scene paths, 4 pages. Get or put. Content subpath, but no, I'm actually surprised that this is happening. Okay, let me think. I'm looking at all pages in a section. And, oh yeah, no, that's correct. There would be some pages that will have a content subpath that, right, that we need to pop one there from. So if, okay, let me read the code a little bit more. So for each page in section, yeah, we keep doing page content subpath. Yeah. Okay. So if std mem dot equal u8 p dot name, I think we're gonna have see these in a moment. But if it's the same, md name, then we need to do std.fs.path their name. We need to pop one boy from this stuff. And this is not the file name, right? It's the file value. Wait, create file hash equals. Okay. Exotic kind found optional. Okay, we still have the problem that we failed to find. We're still looking for documentation/index.md in the wrong place. Oh, come on, man. Actually, wait a second. So I think that what I did here is actually good and necessary. We're creating the hash wrong. I think the problem is that we're still creating the hash wrong. Yeah. So this was actually good, but it was not the solution to our problem. So here we panic. We try to open the section thing. Yeah, index PS path. Parent section path. Fine. If stdmm ends with md rel path / md index.md, which should be the case. Amazing. Super sophisticated debug printing. Let's go. Debug printing deployed. Yeah, we do enter in here. Oh, 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 oh. Wait a second. The their name stuff that we had before actually made sense. Oh no. Kind of like to solve a previous bug, we kind of broke it because no, this is not what we do. This is absolutely not what we do. We need to take path to hash and call their path on it again. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now it works, huh? That said, I guess we probably want to revisit what happened on the other side. This is again saying changelog. Oh man, you cannot be saying changelog. Please, for the love of fucking God, reload. Why am I not seeing here that we reloaded? Okay, I crashed the thing on purpose to see if it was the right one. This should not be saying. Oh no! Now it makes sense. Fuck. So by turning about into the index, now it totally has as its next thing the changelog. God damn it! So the alternative would be for it to have to show its first subpage. The reality is, you know what it is, the reality? I know what is the reality. The reality is that we don't want to do this. We want to move, we want to copy index.md into about.md. And indexing documentation, I don't even know what we want to put in there. It's kind of like we want... It's not really a page that we care about. That's the like reality. You know what? Let's leave it empty. Who cares? And now it works. Now this is ugly because it shows nothing. So yeah, this is now ugly, but this now works as it should, as expected. Getting started. VS Code. Yeah. NeoVim, blah 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 blah. Okay. We can put this here temporarily. It's fine. Base. Now we do link to about. And now everybody's happy. We go to about. About goes to getting started. Okay, this is now nice. I like it. So yeah. What do we do next? I guess we want to git status. We do this. We went to Ziggylang. We Zig fetch Zine SuperMD. And no, we're fucking it up. Oh man, wait. We are fucking it up hard. RM RF Zig out. Let's let's reinstall stuff in out for from scratch, because we might have our CSS stuff together, but we don't have our fonts set up. Yeah. The fonts are gone because we never installed them. So let's define our good friends assets3 assets. Wait a second. That's how it is, right? Yeah. And the other one is bench 9 bold. There's also glue gun. The fuck is glue gun? There we go. We're back to our fonts. Okay, that works. Oh, you don't even have to write rebase. You can write rebuzz, and it works. Git, god damn it. So git push, I guess. Okay, so we have updated this. It's kind of making me think though. Let's go back to Christoph.it. Let's see if these latest changes have done something to it. Because I think that I tiptoed between two broken things. Zig fetch, latest Zig. Zig build serve. Like, yeah, I have this feeling that by solving one, I broke the other. Or not. I didn't. Anyway, okay, that sounds good. Perfect. Wait, no. So I updated this. We haven't updated ZineSSG.io, and we haven't re-implemented. So let's delete those. We have to update that guy, and then oh man, do the other stuff. This is like these updates have taken a ton of time. I actually expected them to be faster. So do we update ZineSSG.io? I already did some work there. I don't feel like deploying a new version of Zine. No, I cannot deploy a new version of ZineSSG.io because I tell people to download that to try out Zine. And so that thing should not depend on a half baked version. So no, we don't do this. Yeah, we totally don't do that. So we are now left with the main chunky entry of the day. Are implementing SuperHTML rendering. Oof. Hmm. Hmm. That is tough indeed. So let me think what I want to do. There's also another thing that we should look into that is kind of getting high priority, which is fix the damn dev server. The development server is so fucking annoying, man, because yeah, it is really annoying. This might be something that we should do. We should even prioritize over re-implementing SuperHTML rendering. Like this thing is like really a scourge. In any case, here's also what else, some other things that we can do. Let's reply to some messages here. So at Chuki. Hey, Scott. Wait, are you live watching? I'll take also a reply in Discord if you don't. I don't know if you don't want to chat on Twitch or whatever. Okay, so we did some of the stuff that we wanted to do. Let's take a look at the web server then. So what should the goal be? The goal should be stop crashing. Right now we crash. Whenever we load a page, like whenever a client connects, they reload. If they're too aggressive reloading, we reliably crash. Or not. This one is not a good example. This one doesn't make it crash. Okay, let's make it crash. Yeah, we already have this open. That's nice. Let's see if we can build the Zig website. Maybe we're gonna also get a bonus error. No. Yeah, look at this. Reliably. Like, the fuck? That's not good. The problem has to do with somehow a WebSocket connection getting nuked. And basically what happens is that we are badf. This is a bad file descriptor, which means that this is trying to close something that was already closed, basically. The problem is connection stream close. So it's server main that's trying to close this connection, but it turns out it was already closed by somebody else at some point. Let's take a look one. Okay, I always assumed that this had something to do with my dependency. Maybe not. Let's take a look at 272. Yeah, if the connection didn't become a WebSocket, we want to close it. What's the problem here? You know what? I think we have UB. I think I smell undefined behavior. Let's see. We start a server, port, have a buffer, accept a connection. Became WebSocket is false. At the end of this loop, we check this. While the server state is ready, we receive head. Oh, you know what? This is what's happening. What's happening is that we are returning from here, I think. And I bet you that what we get is HTTP connection is closing. We continue to accept And as we do that, we try to close this connection that's already closed. So here's an interesting thing that we can do. What happens if I do this? It didn't exactly become a WebSocket, but it's not something that we need to close ourselves. Well, what do you fucking know? That was it all along. Such a stupid thing, god damn it. That has been plaguing me for ages. Fuck. I do think that there is still a crash somewhere, though, because I've seen stack traces that go deeper. Yeah, so Scott, if you're rewriting this stuff, let me think if I have any suggestions for you. The original implementation of this thing was single-threaded because it was, you know, like the simplest stuff basically possible. I would argue that probably having a multi-threaded HTTP server is not a bad idea because it would allow for things to be just nicer. Like browsers, I believe, like the idea of opening multiple connections to your stuff, and everything would load faster if we allowed for some parallelism. That said, obviously introducing multi-threading requires more dealing with more complexity. So up to you if you want to do that. But yeah, apparently not trying to close a connection when we were coming out of everything from here wasn't such a bad idea, huh? Who knew? Who knew? Okay, so that's it, I guess. Now it doesn't crash anymore. Okay, so this is done. So should we do the reimplementation SuperHTML rendering stuff? That one is tough. That one is really tough. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe of stopping the stream here and then decide if I want to do that in Discord later on or not. Yeah, I think that's what I will do so that I can also eat something. It's 8:30 for me. So it's probably not a bad idea to get some food in my belly and then decide if I want to YOLO this or not. I made a new Twitch account for chatting with this username. Nice. Oh, you wanted to make it multi-threaded? Okay. Well, Scott, if you happen to be around later on, you know, regardless of whether I decide to tackle this stuff, like my worry is that this thing it's like big, requires brain juice, and I don't know if I have enough brain juice now. But I'll be around regardless. So if you want to chat about stuff and do some, I don't know, co-working in a sense, you'll most probably find me. So yeah, thank you all for hanging out. And I think this is gonna be it. Let me see if anybody's streaming from the Zig community.